Back again with another fun video. Well, I try and make them fun. I've got the 286 motherboard that I recently found at a recycling centre while out of town. As you guys know, this one does post and tries to boot, but has a few issues, and that will probably be down to the corrosion. The corrosion isn't too bad on the board, but it does need some components removed in order to get under there and actually fix them. I don't have a microscope. I've never done anything like this before, so it will be a learning experience, but the good news is that the board actually appears to work, so that's a start. It'd be a little bit more daunting if it didn't. So yeah, we actually have somewhere to start. So what I need to do is actually put some fresh lead onto some of the affected areas on the components to make them easier to remove. But yeah, I guess with that being said, we'll crack in. I'll grab the soldering iron and yeah, let's give it a try. So first of all, I apologise for the focus and everything that might happen. I've turned the camera around to try and get some better shots, but this is kind of what we're working with here. Not great. So what I'm going to do is start on these top components. Start with the battery header. I forgot to point out what I'm doing here is just putting some fresh solder on the joints, just so it's easier to get the desoldering gun in there. Some fresh tin on it. It always just seems to go molten a lot easier. Next, just going to do the diodes. So next, what I'm doing is I'm just going to reflow some of these legs for one of the ICs, as that will need to be removed to get to the traces under it. And I'm just going either side of the chip to try and not throw too much heat into it. I haven't actually looked at any of these ICs to see what their job is. Next to just doing the keyboard header. Or keyboard port, I should say. Just pre-tin this guy. Make sure it's all free flying. These are great tools. I wish I'd bought one sooner. I mean, just being able to, you know, wiggle the pin loose while you're working on it is such a grateful thing. Yeah, those VAs are free. So if any luck, there's the keyboard. connector. So what I'm going to do, that's looking crusty. Actually, that might need replacing, is I'm actually going to use this old jar to store components. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of work my way along. Not that I need a header. Moving on to the diodes. Now you won't be able to see this, but if I can do this without burning myself, all I'm going to do is just pop those out. I'll test them again with my multimeter, but I'm sure they'll be fine. And as I said, I'll be keeping all of these parts in my little jar. Next I'm going to start on this chip here. So I'm going to start kind of at opposite ends. I don't know if this is best practice, but I'm just kind of worried about lifting any pads. Some of these are quite small. That's what she said. At this point, I'm pretty much just using this small screwdriver to break the pins loose against the vias. Sometimes they get a little bit stuck in there, and they all the legs have to be free essentially to pull the chip out. So yeah, if you're finding the chip is stuck in, just try cracking them loose and seeing if the chip releases safely. Okay, there's one side. Yeah, legs just pretty much broke off, but that's fine. I can either pull this off a donable. Oh no, it didn't break off. Ah, sweet. God, that's disgusting. Like me. So it might be a bit hard to see, but what I'm doing now is just desoldering. Well, sorry, putting some fresh lead to desolder the 8042 keyboard IC. So same technique, fresh tin on there just to help the desoldering pump / gun make the solder melt easier and suck it up. But yeah, a lot of pins on this one. It's in a socket, so I thought it'd be good just to remove it, and there was one trace under the IC that looked a bit suspect as well. Alright, what I'm going to do at this point is put some vinegar. I've just got some plain old vinegar here. I'm just going to put just a little drop or two just over everything, just, yeah. Not like huge amounts, just enough in some of these troubled areas. I am going to try and get some in the ISO slot here. It's not too bad, just a little bit corroded, so you know, it's kind of like, why not? Why are you there? The vinegar won't go under the solder mask of the motherboard, but it will go over the exposed legs on ICs and in the ISO slots and things like that you put it into any exposed metal. So ideally you would scrape away the solder mask on the motherboard, but I don't have a proper tool for that unless you count a pair of tweezers or the leads from my multimeter. But any corrosion that you see in that ISO slot pretty much just went away as soon as I put a card in it. So yeah, helps out a lot. And I'm just letting it soak in here. Now that some of the corrosion has been removed from the board, I need to put in some wires to try and fix some of these traces up. So literally all I'm doing is I think I'll put in a little bit of wire just to try and bridge some of these, test continuity, and yeah, that's connected. So I've done along here, this trace here, and I think given that's a main power feed wire, I'm actually going to use a piece of Ethernet cable. It's not super high current, but should do the job. So what I'm going to do is pre-tin traces. It still somehow has continuity, but I'm not entirely sure how. Alright, I'll pre-tin my little bit of bodge wire. It's going to be really hard to see for you guys. Sorry about the arm. Definitely not the greatest soldering in the world with the camera in the way, but continuity. And I'm going to test that from the source, basically. Yeah, all the way through. Good enough. Just isn't any there left to connect to, and I don't have any wire That's thin enough to go in between it. Yeah. So, bring this back around at town. Use my disgusting, scabby finger to hold that down. And we'll just gently do that. Right, let's flip it over. Test for continuity. There we go, that's restored. This is kind of where we're at the moment. I have fixed this trace between this there and this one by just scraping away at the crap that was on there. This power is restored here. This one just needed a bridge, which is where most of the big damage was, so it's got a nice thick cable there. What I'm going to do is kind of separate these like this, and then I'll like glue it down so they're separated. This got a little bit damaged. I think it's either a resistor or a fuse. This little capacitor here, this edge got chipped off on it while removing this chip. Both of these are my fault. I'm going to fix this up once the keyboard connector's in, because I'm going to go on the other side and solder it directly onto its paired thing. But yeah, for now I've just got to fix a few more traces, mainly in here. Where else? There's a few others as well that I need to check. Some of which I have to probably wait until I put this chip back in. Yeah, like this one here, completely open. So what I'm going to do is do all the ones that don't require a chip to be in place to test. Well, that one's still good. At this point I'm pretty much just using my tweezers to scrape away some of these corroded traces. They've still got continuity, but yeah, that aren't looking to flash, because if I can get some fresh tin put on them, then it means I don't have to run more bodge wires and can restore some of the strength of the trace. It's quite fun to do without a microscope or a magnifying glass. Alright, so pretty much at this point, what I'm going to do is start putting chips back in the board. I have done this document with some traces that I'm going to have to run on the underside of the board itself. I did take photos of the motherboard just for chip orientation, stuff like that. So yeah, I think what we'll do is I'll start populating some of these chips back in. I think I'll start with the little Toshiba IC. Put that in here. And this guy needs 2 traces fixed to it. All the others appear to be just fine. Clip that in here. Making sure the notch is up the top, which it is. Knowing me, that'd be something I would miss. And then what I'm going to do is just load up my iron here, and I'm just going to tack just 2 sides in there, just so I can free my hands up and I can do the other legs. Now I just need to put some bodge wires in. Actually, what I'm going to do is put all of this stuff back in, because some of these wires I need to, like the keyboard connector and the OK power good signal, and these 2 up here need to be done. I think I can do 1. Actually, maybe I'll do that 1. Just so it's out of the way. I've got to find my wire. And what I'm using for wire is this really thin gauged Walkman wire. And you know what? It does the trick. So 4th pin down. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the one we want. And the easiest way I find to get the insulation back is just to use the soldering iron. Heats it up just enough. That can strip back the insulation. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's crap. Alright, next chip here. I've got a screwdriver under it just to help hold the chip up. Okay. Alright, next I'm just going to do this power connector. Go. Put a bit of weight down just to start getting this tacked in. kind of just going backwards and forwards on this. Just try and prevent any like plastic melting or anything like that. I mean, yeah. Cool, that's looking great. Just putting another bodge wire here. Okay, it's definitely attached. Now just to pop in the keyboard connector. Okay, that goes in. Thankfully, holds itself. Making sure to put generous amounts on this keyboard connector as it gets a lot of mechanical force on it. We need to put some more wires in between these points here, over here. So I'll do that, and I believe that's our last two bodge wires. Bring that over to here. Trim that back. Looks like there's not enough what do you call it, flux or something in there. And then cut it to length. Okay, expose the little bit of wire there. Cool. Can do a continuity test now. Nice. All I need to do now is put like the ROM or whatever that chip is back in. Some of this stuff. Now they know that the traces are good under it. So I'll solder all of these chips and ICs back in. And go from there. Well, as you can imagine, things didn't exactly go to plan. You can see the postcard here is not exactly doing much, and that's because I'd caused a short between the OK power on signal, which is that yellow wire to the left, to the ground plane, which is on the right there where I was just pointing. After a couple of days of working on the motherboard, I did manage to get it to post, but still had no keyboard activity. I thought it was the corroded keyboard connector, so believe it or not, this is actually one from another motherboard that I managed to kind of soak in some vinegar to clean it up, so I've put that in. But yeah, after a bunch of testing, I still had the same issue, so I really didn't know what to do, so I did put a post on Vogons, which I'll show here shortly. But yeah, some really annoying troubleshooting, but at least the motherboard posted after removing that power signal issue. So you can hear that it posts, no keyboard LED activity, but twisting the cable would cause the motherboard to reboot, and I'm pretty sure that was just with the old keyboard connector having some corrosion left in it. So here is my continuity testing I was doing on the board from the keyboard connector to the keyboard IC, which is the big chip just behind it. And I did have continuity, but what I didn't know was that the motherboard has multiple paths to the IC and to the gate chips, I think that's what they're called, which are the two little chips that I had removed. And I only knew that because I had taken some high-res photos and printed them out, which you can see here. And because I don't own a microscope, I managed to blow them up. But yeah, what I found was from the keyboard port, these two traces in red go to the yellow one here, and then the blue one just to the left of it. And then those two traces go all the way across to U62, which is one of the ICs that I had replaced. So it needs to have continuity from both sides, and both of these go into that keyboard IC, so one must be an input, the other must be an output. Annoying, but I managed to figure it out. So now, after fixing those traces, I can turn this on. I was finally rewarded with a post screen and BIOS screen that I could control with a keyboard of all things. Kind of a funky little BIOS this thing is. I'm not very familiar with 286 stuff, but hey, it works. So yeah, just going to carry on getting the motherboard buttoned up. Alright, so now I'm just going to try and put some of this clear nail polish, or like a lacquer, just over some of these bits of exposed copper. Just so that I don't, you know, corrode any further. And I'm not putting a lot. I think maybe just enough. Just like that. I've also put a new header in, so if I ever need to put a battery on there, can put another rechargeable external battery pack. So I've been to the local hardware store and got myself a nice high quality hot glue gun. Basically all I'm going to use this for, like, it comes with a little stand, is to help secure some of those wires down. So if I can get this epoxy bloody thing in here, God, this is shit. But thankfully I don't think I'm going to be needing this glue gun too many times. What sort of millimeter sticks it uses. It doesn't mention, so that'll be fun to try and find. Yeah. And I'll use this extension cord that's on my desk. Handy. And yeah, I'll let it set up. Wow, that's really stable. So the idea is going to be to secure these wires down. Not that the soldering is what I consider bad. It's really just to stop things moving around. So yeah, that's really all I'm going to be doing. I have no idea how long this is going to take to heat up. Probably about 5 minutes. So I'm going to try and sort of group, hold these down. Doesn't need much. Looks very professional as well. That's what I like about hot glue. Of course, everything I just said was lies. It looks like shit. But yeah, it's saving this motherboard, I guess, from the scrap. This guy here, I'll just keep that back there. Okay, well, yeah, now that I've committed the sin, if anyone watches Voltar's channel, you know how much he loves hot glue on circuit boards. But yeah, this is, I guess, just to hold some of this wiring in. So it's just really, if I put this motherboard in a case, that none of these wires move around a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, like some of these Walkman wires and things like that are very thin and small gauge. The thing I've realized with these 286 motherboards recently is for this one at least, I have to have a keyboard connected for the machine to post. So I'm not too sure quite what the deal is with that. I'm not sure if that was how it was before. You guys might know in the comments if that's normal behavior for a 286. Yeah. Anyway, that's really it. So next video on this motherboard, I need to actually probably put this in a case. So maybe I might do a little road trip out to my storage unit, see what cases I've got. I know I've got 2 AT cases that this would fit into. They're much newer than what I would like for such a board, and I know they have CD-ROM drives, but hey, it's better than nothing. So, and it'll be cool to, you know, have this thing in a machine working, and this would make this motherboard my oldest and slowest piece of equipment in my collection. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Hope it was somewhat interesting. Camera angles are probably rubbish because I can't I always forget to actually bring the camera around properly to do all the work. But yeah, that's it for now, and thanks for watching, and catch you guys in the next video. Alright, bye for now.